Nothing like a couple dogs just chewing on bones and being quiet. Welcome to another couch part of the read along. I am your host. My name is Hala, and here I am, and we are reading along. We are in chapter 15 of Go the Distance, the Hercules Twisted Tale, written by Jen Kalanita. We're about halfway through it. I'm not disliking it. I have thoughts, which I've expressed, but so far I think the story is developing. At this point, I'm actually curious what's going to happen, because we have the reveal of Aegis's background, Hades obviously not being a trustworthy source, and then, you know, time is ticking as well, because Meg only has, I think she had 10 days to complete her quest, and time is of the essence, literally. Yes, she has a little pink hourglass, or an hourglass with like pink sand in it, counting down from Hera. So onward to chapter 15, Rising Water. I didn't even get to hit pause before, and this is just the me thing, okay? Let me repeat, not the most well-versed in all the words. We had that one word earlier in the first read-along. I think it was Zagrit or Zafrig. This is the word. I don't even think you guys can see it. Probably couldn't see it. I probably blocked out the light. C-A-I with the two dots. Q-U-E. Psych? Suksak. Can't pronounce it. I only know it's probably a boat because it says it's a small bright orange fishing vessel with a long sharp bow and a sail. So why you gotta put words in that me don't recognize? Maybe how many people know what this word is just off the top of their heads? Yeah, if you know what that word is, let me know. Maybe I really just need to use a thesaurus more, which isn't incorrect. But anywho, we're going to try to get through some more. So we had a very quick farewell with Aegis and the baby, and they're heading downstream on the fishing vessel, and Meg takes control and feels like you know how to do a boat, how to drive, steer a boat, whatever. And she's like, yeah, I do, thanks to Hercules. So then we have a flashback of basically just a date with Hercules. He asks her to go out in the sea with him, or the lake, I guess they go out in the lake, and more or less learns how to do a boat. So we have the phrase piece of cake to say something's easy, which I probably should look up exactly how that correlates, piece of cake to easy. They twisted it or just reworded it so it would fit in here. So this has been a piece of baklava so far, and nothing about baklava is easy. Making it's not easy. Eating it seems easy at first, but it's there's flakes everywhere, and then it's like super dense, and I'm okay with the attempt to change it, but I don't think baklava is what we wanted. Baklava is not easy. Baklava is not easy. Right, Tundra? Baklava is not easy. What do you think? Is baklava easy? No? You're staring at your brother because he got the bones? On this little boat ride, they go down a waterfall. They survive. Obviously, they're essentially trying to find the way to the underworld via water. And Hermes comes and gives them 2 sacks, gifts from Athena. One is a bow and arrow, which Meg is also an expert at. What? Whiny baby. What you whining about? And then your brother's just wanting attention. So I had to put the book down. Yeah, so she's an expert at the bow and arrow because her mom was an expert. And because they did have one scene where her mom came back from hunting with her bow and arrow, I believe, and some hares for dinner. Okay. Do I think Meg is an expert, especially if she hasn't picked it up in years? No, I don't believe it. And now the puppies are being grumpy. Why, guys? Share? Can we share? you guys doing? What's that? Is it possible we have two bones? What was that, bud? Atreyu. The handsome boy. Oh, yeah. Hey, sweetie. You got a bone now. You happy? No. This is where the trouble comes in. Be good. Hey, it has been a day or so. I think the last time it was Wednesday night. And I didn't film yesterday. I did read a couple more chapters. I just was in bed, so I couldn't update you guys. I'm about to start chapter 19, and I think the last time I hopped on here, we were going down the river. And then Hermes had shown up with the gifts from Athena, the bow and the arrow, and then the clapper. Like symbols. It's symbols, but maybe like a small version of symbols or something. So moving on, the river basically was not flowing after they fell down the waterfall, but it put them to sleep, so she lost more time, and then they're going by a garden with golden apples. So Meg has the idea that if she takes a golden apple, she can offer it to Hades as a gift to hopefully, have more leverage in getting Katerina out of the underworld. If that doesn't go well, these giant birds start attacking. The roots from the trees also are attacking her, and it's a very sad battle. We do have a few moments where Meg is shooting the bow, and really she gets off one shot at one of the birds that takes Phil and saves him, and then it's like she's out of arrows, and I'm like, did she only have one arrow? Why does that make sense? Because the next thing is she's just using it to whack the bird thing. Eventually she was kind of caught, and out of the blue, essentially, Hercules comes in, knocks everybody back out, and saves her, which she quickly turns into the "you don't think I can do this on my own" kind of argument. He's more or less admits that, he thinks she needs help, his help or someone else's, but just kind of, trying to protect her, but she takes it a little too defensively. So that's kind of where I left off. Now that you guys are caught up, it was literally just like 1 or 2 chapters, but they were like super short. So on to chapter 19. We have broke 200. Only 120 to go. Oh, I forgot to mention she didn't smash it. I thought she was gonna smash it, but she threw the orchid from Hercules into the river, which did only have 3 petals, so 3 times to summon him. And she'd used the one, but now she threw it away. Because she's like, I'm not going to ask for your help. So, splash. So she did that, and she's immediately regretting it. Aphrodite has shown up to help Meg get past this bump in the river, as it were. And the first task that they agree on is fixing the boat, particularly the mast, which is, decently thick. Not like a huge ship's mast, but a good piece of wood, right? And we're fixing it with fishing wire. So it better be a lot of fishing wire. Like, that thing better be more than they probably have. But sure, that's how we're gonna fix it. At least we're using some of the fabric from the sail as well. And we have enough time to carve the driftwood to make better oars. So little things. I don't know what time of day it is, but sure, you have all the time in the world for this. I definitely thought this line was going to be foreshadowing some more like dark past coming up, since as Aphrodite's leaving, she says, watch the waves, you never know what the water will dredge up. So I'm like, ooh, more dark secrets. Nope, quite literally, the orchid is brought up and splashed onto the boat. So she has the orchid back again. Very anticlimactic. We made it to the underworld, or at least the entrance. Met with Sharon. Of course, they didn't have any drachmas with them. So Meg pleaded to Athena, giving, a little heartfelt, I'll play my flute for you and you'll feel it in your heart promise. Felt kind of cheesy, but it worked. Got the drachma to give Meg clearance into the underworld, separating her from both Phil and Pegasus. Sad crying time, but they'll be reunited, so we're okay. The ride is pretty long, and all the dead voices are calling out to Meg, so she tries to think of something happy, and now we get another flashback, possibly filler. I haven't started the flashback, I just felt like I needed to stop and say that. We're going into another flashback of the only chance she'd had to cook for him being Hercules. The flashback was a page, or like 2 pages really. It was... I don't know what part to pull out of it, except for just it was a memory of her making fish for him, and he enjoyed the dates and the cheese, and he was listening to her talk about her life, which I think might have been part of it, just him being willing to listen and learn about her. Immediately, she snaps out of Val that they are approaching Cerberus, which was the start of this chapter 21. And, that's what the chapter title is even about. It's about Cerberus. And it really is not a long scene. Basically, she just focuses and tries to remember how she used to play, and Cerberus goes to sleep. Proceeding on to the end of the line, where she is trying to figure out the directions to the different parts of the underworld, and after going up many stairs and tiring out, she steps into sort of like an elevator, and who is there but the last god she wanted to see? Hades. Well, of course, he's gonna know you're already there. He's in charge of the whole place. Taking a break, and I'll be back. I'm back. Welcome to my ceiling, because didn't feel like getting the tripod out. On to chapter 22. I'm currently 104 words away from my minimum writing goal today. So it felt like it was time for a break. I've already written 2,700. Puppies are here. They're being a bit rambunctious. So might read a couple chapters, then take... We can't say the word. So maybe I can get... Ooh, that chapter's kind of long. We're going to try to do 2 chapters before they... I should have probably taken them first. We're going to try. We're going to do at least 1 chapter. So on to chapter 22. So that was, like I said, it was a pretty quick chapter, all in Hades' point of view, and Jen definitely has written Hades true to character. Perfect attitude match. We did also see Pain and Panic for a second here, which didn't appear earlier like I had hoped, but they're here. So the gang's all back together. So he's more or less interrogating Meg, trying to figure out why she's down there now after she betrayed him, and then the Fates arrive, calling Hades' attention away. So when he takes his elevator down a few levels to see them, Persephone's there. I mean, it took me a few seconds to even get past it, because he initially calls her Per, like P-E-R. This has now become another little thing I'm not fond of in this book, especially. I don't recall it as quite as much in Mirror Mirror and Concealed Unveiled, but I think those characters all had shorter names. But she keeps shortening their nicknames to just 3 letters. Not everybody calls other people just Peg and Per and Red. Like, that's just really annoying right now. But Persephone's there. She's happy to be there. She wants to be there and stay with Hades. So that is an interesting little twist. And, you know, him seeing her immediately changes his demeanor to not quite lovesick, but definitely more, less snarky, more dreamy, or romantic, I guess. Okay, I'm willing to see how that goes. Because it's not something we usually see of Hades, it's very jarring. I'm hoping that the Hades Persephone romance wasn't just put in here to de-villainify Hades or distract him, or I have suspicions, but I'm willing to see it out. I was going to let this little wording go, but then the next sentence after next kind of made it pop out again. So as Meg is falling, she manages to snag on the edge of the staircase with one hand, and her body slams against the rocky surface. Immediately, I was thinking she isn't strong enough to do that. Like, if you're plummeting, it's not going to be that first thing your hand touches that you're able to grab. That's very rare. B, I just don't see her with enough strength to do that with one hand. The first time, at least. Regardless, that wasn't my issue. That's just something else. As she's pulling herself up, where did it go? Pulling herself up to the steps to shimmy back onto the stairs. Now, the reason why it had pulled me out of the story is because steps and stairs are interchangeable for the most part, for most of their uses. But then I was like, okay, well, let's say stairs is just like the full staircase. Let's make it the bigger thing and just move on. And then it's taking the stairs two at a time. And I'm like, well, we just established that the stairs was the big part and the steps were the individual. It's really nothing. It's not wrong. I'm overanalyzing, I know, but it happened. And I'm letting you guys know, because that's what a read-along is for. Me literally nitpicking the things that make my brain stop reading and wonder. Meg finds the how do we pronounce that? Asphodel meadows, and she starts her search for Katerina, running into a group of women, one who looks like her mother, but she's got to stay focused on the task, and they're all three like trying to tell her where she should go, assuming that she's a newly dead recruit sort of thing. And there's construction going on, so there's all the sounds of hammering and birds. And in this one part, the three women are each like saying a line, and she's like, I'm so tired of hammering. And birds, said the first woman, and bees, said the second. And I'm just thinking, the birds and the bees, that's close to something. And so I was like, okay, birds and the bees, that whole like romance thingy. And with Hades and Persephone now a thing there. Persephone actually mentioned she was working on a project. So I'm wondering if she's building her own space, like a garden with birds and bees. Maybe it's literal but also figurative, or maybe it's just birds and bees. This feels like a typo or a inconsistency or loss of let me read it to you, okay? I have to kind of read a good bit of it. So essentially Meg has run into Persephone, not knowing that it's Persephone, but we know it's Persephone. And she's planting flowers near the road. It's the most vibrantly colored thing aside from Meg right now in the underworld. So the woman is talking. She looked at Meg as though just remembering she were there. But it's probably best if you don't tell anyone you saw me here. She says this to Meg. Oh. Meg made a motion to seal her lips. No problem there. I'd rather you not tell anyone you saw me either. So based on the dialogue action tag here, Meg's the one who said that, reacting to Persephone, right? I'd rather you not tell anyone you saw me either. Then she briefly wonders about the underworld's rules for the landscape, thinking Hades wouldn't like that. The next paragraph line is, "You've got a deal," Meg said. So I've done like 3 or 4 takes on this, trying to see where, like if it was supposed to be switched, and because it sounds better if Persephone told Meg she's got a deal, I won't tell if you won't tell, but it goes just right back to Meg saying you've got a deal, and then Persephone keeps talking about not expecting to be there that long. Has anyone else read this part and thought the same thing? But let me know. Let me know, because this girl be confused. This part feels like Meg is trying to tell the goddess of, I guess, the harvest? What is Persephone the goddess of exactly? How to grow flowers. She's having trouble keeping them alive. They're just not getting enough sun. And of course, Meg goes into the spiel of, well, they do best in full sun in the early part of the day and partial sun in the rest. Like going into full-on gardener mode. And I'm just like, you're talking to Persephone. Even then, even if you weren't talking to Persephone, when did you become an expert? And I mean, I guess, okay, sure, her mother loved hydrangeas. She always splurged on flowers to spruce up their house. So her mother taught her how to grow them and prune them, etc. But it's like, what are the odds? But also, like, Persephone should know this. Let me Google what she's the goddess of. Goddess of fertility in reference to plants as well. So I feel like she would know that the hydrangeas weren't getting enough sun and she wouldn't have planted them there. You guys are allowed to tell me if I'm looking way too deep into this, but I have thoughts. Okay, we have found Layla, who is Katerina's younger sister, through a quick little friendly guidance. Found the field, the poppy field, where dead children kind of stay with their adult family. Of course, there was that rush to find Katerina, not knowing who exactly she was, seeing so many people that looked like her. Finally, she hears the hum of a song Aegis used to play for her when they first met and while they were together. So she plays it on her flute and gets Layla's attention, who recognizes the melody. So we are so close to getting Katerina. The dogs are kind of being good, but I think I will go take them on a walk and end this read-along for the day. Sorry if I have thoughts, but not sorry because that's why I did a read-along. We're gonna go because puppies and reading along shouldn't be, of course I go and close the book, shouldn't be too much longer. I'm on 265 of 327 or something. So maybe one more part to go. I might do the whole finale together. So talk to you guys in the next one.